So I'm just going to do a final instalment on the tree damage. This was our neighbours who decided whilst we were on holiday that they would go down and trim shrubs, bushes. They've cut 2 silver birches down through the trunk about halfway, and a Fremontodendron, that's a California glory for anyone that doesn't know, and they've cut that through the trunk again. We've lost about 7 or so foot on the 2 silver birches and the Fremontodendron. Police have been out and decided that they couldn't prove criminal damage because they haven't killed the trees off, so that was the expected result from the police, and we've been waiting for some months now for the solicitors to come back with their opinion on where we are on the legal side of things. And what I've done here is I've extracted the text from the letter from the solicitors. I've removed any personal information like the neighbour's name, and I'm going to make this as a download on Mediafire because it's actually quite interesting, the legal standpoint and how the courts would deal with this and that sort of thing. If you can't be bothered to watch the video, the outcome is the courts, we do have grounds to take this to court, and the solicitors would do that for us, but skipping all through this, the end result would be that the courts would award us costs of replacing the 2 or the 3 trees with saplings. You'll have to download this and read all the way through it to understand all of this, but the law is not in the victim's court at all. We've got 18-20 foot silver birches, £1,000 each, and the neighbour can cut them in half and effectively get away with it because the courts applies the following: what would a normal person do if these trees had been damaged in a storm? Let's say they had been uprooted in a storm. Well, how that is the same as somebody cutting your trees down deliberately whilst you're on holiday, I don't know, but this is the reasoning the courts would apply. And they say that a reasonable person in that situation where they've suffered tree damage would simply go out and buy replacement trees, but saplings, because they're not going to fork out £1,000 on a mature tree. Well, I think that depends on how much money you've got and how important those trees were to you. But again, I don't think that situation should apply to us, because this was a deliberate act by somebody who did not own these trees. But there you go. That is the solicitor's opinion of the law, and there's various other things we would have to do to take this to court. We would have to get a arborist out just to confirm that the trees had been cut through at the trunk, that they couldn't attain normal full height again, so we would have the costs of that to bear, and we would have, who knows what sort of length delay, 6, 8, 10 months, who knows what the county court's backlog is at the moment. But yeah, there's lots of talk about mitigating your losses and not wasting the court's time. If the courts feel you've acted unreasonably, they can award costs against you even if you win the case. It is just it's totally against the victim, and it is all for the person that's done this damage. It's disappointing, but no massive surprise. So yeah, I'm going to upload this. There's quite a lot to read, but it would be, it's legal advice from a solicitor, so somebody else who perhaps can't afford to employ solicitors or doesn't have that sort of cover with their insurance may well benefit from reading through this if they're in a similar situation. So yeah, please download this and have a read through, because what your common sense would deem to be correct is often not the case legally, and frankly, Debbie's said to me, this is just not worth the aggro and upset of pursuing, because we're going to end up with 2 or 3 saplings that probably cost what, 50, 60 quid each, and it's not worth the stress and upset that this is going to cause for many more months. So she's just said to me, well, you're going to just have to let this go and accept that they've done this and frankly have got away with it. So yeah, not an acceptable situation as far as I'm concerned, but the law's the law. Sadly, it's not a justice system, it's just simply a legal system, and it sucks a lot of the time, unfortunately, but that's what we've got. We're not going to be able to fight it and get much out of this. So they've done £2,500 worth of damage, and they're going to get away with it scot-free. Very unfortunate situation. But as I say, do download this if you're in a similar situation. The legal advice here is valid and is quite extensive. So yeah, just have a download and read it through.